Woke up at dawn with the pelicans in flight. Coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze. Watching the sunset fade away with pink and blue ease. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light. For the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No riches compared to the peace we found in the tides we ride and the love all around. No rainbow horizons after the rain. Diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace. Family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons forever free. Yeah. Your rainbow horizons calling to me.
All right, people. I hope you are all doing very well. I am myself doing great. Let me go full screen and say, hey, I hope everybody is good. There is so much drama on the streets of YouTubia. And I kind of shy away from that on my channel. I watch it, right? But I kind of shy away from really talking much about it because frankly, I think people are just bored with drama. So that's my opinion. Look, what I want to do today is I want to review another video by the legal Lioness. All right. So she is from Great Britain. Well, she sounds like she's somewhere from the British Isles. I don't know her. I haven't spoken to her or anything like that, but I found her because she made comment on the Lauren Matthias clown show where Lauren and John copyright struck Crescia. which was egregious at best. At best. I actually think I could make a case for the fact that it was absolutely immoral, that they are bona fide liars because they tell their fake CZ gems that that they're for victims and they stand for the victims' rights and all that. And then they turn around and do something egregious like copyright striking Kay and Kresha as they're just having a family conversation on a family channel where they have the right to talk about their story, their path and what they lived through. And so, you know, all John and Lauren care about is their money. That is the height of what they care about, is how do I keep my grift going? And if keeping the grift going includes copyright striking people that had their families annihilated, if it means taking a innocent person and getting a dirty cop to help you like drum up pretend charges so you can then put her in prison for 50 years to what? Protect the grift. If protecting the grift means going on a live for 9 hours where you proceed to weep like a little child, where you proceed to snot up the bedspread in a hotel, where you obviously take pills with the camera rolling, you think this is a woman who's worried about what people say about her? She doesn't care what you say. She doesn't care what she looks like. She is acting like a clown with her own cameras rolling. She uploads it. You know what she is? She's like a rich man's Brittany J. That's what she's like. She's like a rich man's Brittany J. She's a mess. She is a mess. But because she's had money to do multiple facelifts, different kind of work on her face and whatnot, to buy expensive clothing or rent expensive clothing, she can give this impression that she's something that she categorically doesn't appear to be if we only judge her by her behavior, which is my motivation. I don't care what you look like. There was a period of time in my life when I was a lovely lass, okay? But time marches on and it has marched right across my face. And now I'm not such a lovely lass, and that is okay, because what I look like, that is not the definition of who I am. The things that I do, my behaviors, my actions define me. Even my hobbies, the things that bring me joy and happiness, the friendships, the relationships that I have, the dreams that I have for the future, those are self-defining. My appearance is not self-defining. I look different any given day of the week. Right now, I look a certain way because, yeah, I'm working. But, you know, if you see me later this afternoon after 2:00, you know what I'm going to look like? I'm going to have on a red and black flannel shirt with leggings, black leggings. And then I'm going to have on a cap, a black, kind of like a velvet cap or suede. It's like a kind of a suede material that says, in jewels, obviously, it says Bad Hair Day. And then I'm going to have some big hoop earrings in. And that's what I'm going to look like. I'm going to take my makeup off and I'm going to be nice and free. I'm going to feel, you know, unencumbered, right? So my appearance isn't what defines me or you. It is your hobbies and your interest and the friendships that you have in your life, the goals that you've set. Those are the things that define you. Even people that have no plans for the future, compared to those people that live by goals and plans, like some people, they plan from one vacation to the next, right? That's the thing that makes them feel good and excited about living. And so they finish one vacation, and then when they get home, now they're already thinking about, oh, what are we going to do next summer? Or where are we going to go next winter? And that planning, the research and talking to people online about that particular part of the world, that is something that brings them a lot of joy, and it is self-defining, right? Not the way we look. The way we look doesn't have anything to do with the price of eggs in China. And yet Lauren is the exact flipped opposite of that. She seems to operate from a position where what she does, she thinks should not reflect on her. If she gets out and becomes a funeral tourist where she's zooming in trying to look for dead bodies on the grounds of the church, that's okay. Don't judge me. If I lie about what the sheriff just said on camera, if I lie and tell you the exact opposite, don't judge me on that. No. That's not the essence of who old Wawin is. But, do you love my eyebrows? I fixed my eyebrows so that you guys would be happier with them, because that is who I am. The way that I look and the way that the presentation that I put out to the world, that is what Lauren Matthias is. So people were outraged by what she did to Kresha and her family. People were outraged about what she did to Christina and other ex-friends and employees. People were really outraged about what she did to Lori Hellis. Lori Hellis taking the time, a professional attorney, to write a book and then have this little snarky little heifer, Lauren, to turn around and say, hey, I got her book. Who wants it? So you don't have to waste money buying it. Let's deny her the income that is rightly owed to her because she did the work to write the book. That's who your queen is, you hidden gems. Why? Let me question hidden gems. Why do you guys need to be hidden? It seems like you would be valuable. It seems like you would want to be on display like the royal gems of Queen Elizabeth and Princess Diana and all of those, royal women beforehand. Don't you think you'd rather have a cult where people are proud of you? Not where they're trying to hide you, but to bring you out so you can sparkle and shine anywhere, where you're proud to say, look, I'm one of the original gems. And where are the original gems? That's right here at Jewels of Thought, aka Allegedly Innocent. By the way, we're going to now have 2 channels because everybody's doing it, Mom. We're going to have 2 channels. We're going to have a channel that is Allegedly Innocent with the number 1 behind it. So at Allegedly Innocent 1. That is going to be all of our true crime content. And then we're going to keep this channel, the Jewels of Thought or the Jot Talk. We're going to keep that for, reaction videos and reviewing and talking about current events and gossip. Okay. All right. So what I want to do today is Legal Lioness, who is she is the kryptonite to the Lauren Matthiases and John Matthiases of the world. She is the real deal. She's a copyright attorney, and it takes about 5 minutes of listening to her talk to know, yeah, this woman is telling the truth. She is who she is. I see people, make channels. They don't put their face on the camera, and they say, oh, well, I am a psychologist, because psychologist channels tend to blow up and grow, right? And then you listen to them and you're like, dude, you're reading that out of a book. Shut up. Or they're talking in a way that they simply don't know what they're talking about. And so that too can't be possible. And I'm going to admit something. On more than one occasion, I have listened to John Matthias and I thought, what? What is he like saying, for example, that because someone dies, you can get their health records. You can get their protected health information if they die. Gosh, John Matthias, you stepped off in the middle of that one, didn't you? That's one that is on your licensing exam. So I'm not quite sure how you passed your licensing exam. The truth is, no, protected health information remains protected even upon death. It is protected for 50 years, which is why you couldn't get the Kennedy assassination information about his injuries and such that happened during the assassination. It's protected information like any citizen of the United States. Okay. All right. So today we're not really talking about, Lauren Matthias. However, Legal Lioness does in fact have the video up where she talks about Lauren Matthias and the fact that she copyright struck Kresha. So I hope that you guys will go there. But today she's going to be talking about, yes, the good Prince Harry. I know. The Mr. Meghan Markle. All right. Look, this man has been stripped of his manhood, in my opinion. Look, my opinion is not very popular. I kind of feel sorry for Harry. Okay. I feel sorry for Harry because in no way was he raised to take on the world without handlers. He just wasn't. He was raised to live in a protected bubble where he's an actor that provides continuity to history. And it's really that simple. So I always liked him. He was always my favorite, right? I liked the fact that he was kind of impish. He was playful. He was kind of mischievous, if you will. And he seemed to also be Princess Diana's favorite. Prince William, of course, being heir to the throne, he would have been handled dramatically different than Harry. Harry was just sort of there until there was at least one, child born to William. So William, I'm sorry, Harry spent most of his life just not knowing who he was or what would become of him. That's the truth. I think it's healthier, this royal family issue. I think it's healthier if they would take the second, third, fourth born children. If they would say, what do you want to be? Do you want to be an accountant? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be an engineer? And mold them and guide them to pursue what they want, what they identify with, instead of holding them in the wings and saying, oh, you might be heir to the throne, but if you're not heir to the throne, then you get to be Prince Andrew, a creepy pedophile. That's all you get to be. That's the only notable thing about you is going to be if you're creep or not. So I think, Princess Catherine, take your other two kids and start now figuring out what their talents are and encourage them to pursue a life of their own choosing. And if something happens to William, then they can make a decision whether they want to step into royal duties or not. Or if they want to say, no, thank you, I'll continue to be a cardiac surgeon instead of King of England or Queen of England. Okay. That's my psychologist 2 cents. Okay. Now that we're going to listen to Legal Lioness as she tells us, I like him too, Kelly. I just feel really sorry for him that he got mixed up with a woman who seems to be the proverbial gold digger. maybe, there's a lot of her antics and behaviors that I would say are fairly consistent with someone that might be dealing with a serious personality disorder. But all that aside, I just feel sorry for Harry. I don't think he wasn't prepared to be on his own. He's been victimized due to, I think, being overly trusting. I think at this point now, after the mistakes he's made, he just bows down to Lord Megan. So he looks at her to guide what is, I think, is a sinking ship. And I think if he could find his courage and say, okay, not doing this, me, the royal children, we're going home. And Megan, you can stay here in your mansion. You can come with us to England, but I'm done with this. I don't want to live like this anymore. I was born to be a part of this royal family that is a highly protected, overly managed group of people. They are not prepared to deal with what me and you have to deal with. They're just not. They just can't do it. All right. So let's take a listen. I'm fangirling for the legal lioness. So let's take a listen as she talks about Harry's latest court debacle, where once again he's accusing people of, mistreating him, tricking him, being dishonest. Harry, people can trick you in the real world. They do. Attorneys do trick you in a court of law. It's part of the game. And again, this is one more, example of where Harry is not prepared to be just a normal, regular citizen.
So getting on to the facts. Here are some facts that I've just picked out as being interesting because I find his testimony quite contradictory on these issues. Now, I have said in a previous video that I think the strongest point that is against the newspapers when it comes to the stories about Harry was that one story where they were managed to get the seat number. Apparently, they managed to get the seat number of Chelsea Davy, his then girlfriend. That would be something that somebody would need to look up in the records of the airplane, or of the air company, and that presumably at the time would have been illegal to give that information out. So that is for me, so far from what I've heard, the strongest point. Anyway, so one of the things is that Harry was talking about this journalist Katie Nichols, and he's quite defensive, and he says, well, she attended some events where my friends and I were, but I didn't even know that she was a journalist, somehow giving the impression that she was sneaking in or something like that. Of course, that was part of her job. She was what's called the diary journalist. Her job was to follow the diary of Harry and to go to the places where he was. And, he would hang out at certain nightclubs, and it was well known where he would be. So that's his point. He didn't know she was a journalist, almost giving the impression that he might have let some things slip to her because he didn't know who she was. But then here comes the contradiction. He says his friends would never, ever have spoken to Katie Nichols about anything relevant.
How would Prince Harry not have known that the journalist that was given charge to follow him throughout his daily schedule, the diary, how would he not know? Why wouldn't his handlers say, oh, you see this chick, Katie Nichols? She's a journalist. Be quiet around her. How would he not know that? It's almost like he was being sabotaged. Who would sabotage old Harry? I don't know. That's interesting, isn't it? He should have been told who she was. That's very weird.
Because everybody knew that she was a journalist. So first he didn't know that she was a journalist, but everybody and all his friends knew. Then the second thing, So Rebecca English, which is another journalist, she was also in his social circles and went to the events. And first, he almost tries to denigrate her by saying, "Oh no, she didn't travel in my social circles. She wasn't at um, social gatherings that I went to." But then, in the next breath, he's saying, "Oh, Rebecca English, she was around so much and came to so many of the events that I was at that I felt like she was stalking me." Okay, make it make sense. Then he talks about the article, the newspaper hiding behind this word sources. He says, "Oh, the Daily Mail, they would, if they got information from illegal information gathering, they obviously weren't going to say that in the article. So instead, they would use this word sources. They would say, oh, the information was obtained from sources, and this was code basically for they got it illegally, but they're not going to tell you they got it illegally." And so this word sources is somehow nefarious, which I find quite hilarious because information and press releases are frequently put out to the newspapers favorable to Harry and Meghan, and this information always comes from sources close to the Sussexes, which
Yeah.
PR.
Yeah, you think about if you are a person who your picture, your name has been on newspapers, tabloids, social media since basically the day you were born, that your mother was the most photographed person on the planet. You would think that you would be used to the idea to be on your best behavior no matter who is around, because someone must be watching, someone is leaking, someone's talking. And rather than taking on a point of view where you are paranoid, blaming everyone, maybe just find acceptance that you are a member, probably one of the favored members at the time of the royal family, and that yes, people are trying to capitalize on knowing you. And there will be people that tell stories, and that it is unrealistic to believe, as a member of the immediate royal family, someone who second in line to the throne, well, at the time he was third in line to the throne, people are going to talk about you, Harry. It's unrealistic to believe that you're going to stop people from talking about you, even today. So he seems, I don't know if is he naive? Is he narcissistic? Or does he know that people are doing this and he's okay with it because it gets press for him? I don't know. But I think it's silly that he's in a court of law jumping up and down and crying about, sources were lying about me. Sources were telling my facts, my truth. Of course they were. You're Prince Harry. Of course they were. And I think that's probably what your grandma, the queen, had been telling you since the day you were born.
Gurus tell us means basically that was Harry and Meghan giving that information. So this word sources is crazy that he takes issue with it. Then this is a real gem. He says that information in some of the articles was so private that he would never have revealed it casually, and he would only have revealed it to his most closest and most trusted friends. So this was the most private and sensitive information that he would never have revealed casually. Contrast that with his book Spare, where he put all sorts of confidential and really sensitive and personal information into that book, like losing his virginity behind a pub, to
losing his virginity behind a pub, bragging about how many people he killed in Afghanistan or Iraq. That put a bullseye on his back. I don't know, Harry, dude, are you sure you wrote that book? Or did somebody else in your life write that book, Megan?
What he called an older woman, and he gave so much detail of this encounter that the person, the lady in question, was easily identifiable to their social circles, and she actually had to come out and preemptively say, yeah, I was the person that Harry's talking about in that part of his book. But she had never told anybody for all those decades. She'd never said anything.
Good
So
for
here
her.
he is sniveling and whining about the most personal information that he would never have shared with anybody. And look how he's sharing everything like that in spare. So,
and question, everyone. How many times have you gone around telling people to whom you lost your virginity and when and where? No, you don't, right? It's just not something that people talk about. You just don't do it. So why did Harry put it in a book? Why did is he so self-obsessed that he really thinks people sit around and go, I wonder, the mysteries of the universe. What makes flowers colorful? Why does the sun make us feel warm and happy? Where and how did Prince Harry lose his virginity? No, that is not a thought pondered by anyone. And yet it showed up in his book, Spare. The biggest woe is me, poor me, cry me a river accounting of the history of anyone. Even the title, Spare, it is really negative against him. No, Harry, you're not the spare. The only way that you're the spare, buddy, is if you want to be the spare. If that is the thing that is your claim to fame, that at one time you were within a stone's throw of being King of England, if that's how you want to be identified, if that's the way you want to be remembered, okay, but that didn't work out very well for Prince Andrew. I think, Harry, you need to stop go into all these wackadoodle kind of out there therapist kind of people. I think you need to find a solid, down to earth, grounded health provider, psychologist. Learn to be healthy, learn how to be happy. And part of that is defining yourself in a way that you feel good about. You don't have to be defined as the spare. That ship has sailed. Let it go. There are now 4 heirs to the throne, and they don't include you, right? So let it go. Be who you can feel proud of being and move forward. I don't think you're proud of being Meghan Markle's lapdog. I don't think you're proud of that. I don't think you're proud being told to wait off stage while Meghan puts on a show to get her photos made for her stupid queen cookies or whatever it's called. And then she summons you to join for a few pictures. You're the Prince of England. You're the prince. You're a real bona fide prince. You have access to do anything wonderful. Nonprofits that would help people, help children, build houses for people. You could get educated and be a veterinarian, a large animal, exotic animal veterinarian. You have within your reach anything to be whatever you want to be, Harry. Stop blaming William. Stop blaming your dad. Stop blaming the people of England. And for God's sake, stop blaming the world. It falls on deaf ears, Harry. All these people out here that you're blaming, saying we're the bad guys because we talk about you. We're the ones that have messed your life up. We're the ones that get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work in the dark. What are you doing at 5 o'clock in the morning? Huh? Oh, you don't have to go to work, do you? You get up around 10, you lay around by the pool, have your orange juice, and decide, maybe I'll go play polo today. Maybe I'll play tennis. Maybe I'll just sit in my study and get zonked out on Irish whiskey. People are not listening to your sob story. They don't care. They don't care that you were within reach of the throne and now you're not. You were just the spare. Nobody cares, because you could still do or be anything you wanted to do or be. You're the one who's given up. You're the one that has allowed Meghan Markle to take you by the and stuff you down in her purse until she needs to pull you out for a photo op. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Go home, figure out what you want to do that's worthy of a Prince of England, and then do it. And quit crying about it. Okay, we don't care if you're the spare. We're done with that. We don't care. We're mad at you. We're mad at you because you've squandered such an amazing birthright. You've squandered such an amazing position of power. In truth, in reality, to be the spare is actually the person with the most power, far more than the heir to the throne. The heir to the throne is being handled and managed from the moment they wake up in the morning until the moment that they're in bed going to sleep. It is being finely controlled and manipulated by this team of obsessive people, compulsive people, right? The reality is that Prince Harry would have had access to everything in terms of resources, would have had access to everything that William had access to in terms of resources, and he was the master of his own ship. He could do with his time whatever the hell he wanted to do with his time. He could have done so much to help the people of England. He could have done so much in Africa. He loves the African continent. He could have done so much there to help people. He could have gone to school and get educated for a real profession where he's not being defined by his brother or his dad or his grandmother or worse, his mom. He had everything William had access to with none of the requirements and responsibilities, the control that William has had to live under. And he squandered it. Up until now, Prince Harry, there's still time for you, Prince Harry. There is still time to get, as we say here in Texas, get your shit together, buddy. Stop this ridiculous game. Stop playing lapdog to that silly woman that you married. Collect your children, go home, and build yourself an identity, a legacy that you're proud of, a legacy that is based on your actions and behaviors, not on the way you look, and certainly not on which family you were born into. All right? Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our life's course, not our mommies and daddies, not our rich, famous grandparents, John Matthias. We are responsible for what we leave behind in this world. We are. Yeah, all those other things influence us. We can have bad things happen to us, but we also have good things that happen to us. In the end, we will be defined by what we did, not what our name was, and certainly not by what we look like. All right? Okay, I'm done. Here is Legal Lioness. Here's her link to her channel, to this video specifically. If you want to go and listen to the whole thing, it's great. She's great. Do you remember when I said at the beginning of this that it doesn't take long to listen to someone who is actually an expert? They're they actually are a professional at what they claim to be, it doesn't take long to listen to them to tell that. They don't need books to read. Like I could, oh shoot, I had a book here to recommend. Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't have to sit here and go, okay, I would like to read, let's see, I need to, okay, to reap the fruits continually, sustain the dialogue through regular practices, set aside time weekly for active imagination. And then Lauren goes, yep. Imagination. Yep. There's no indication that that is expert. There's no level of professionalism. If they're calling you doctor, you damn well ought to know what is in this book, and you don't need to read it, right? You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know. How am I going to recommend this to someone if I don't know what's in it? If I don't understand the content that's in it? How is that ethical? Nevada and Utah. And yet we don't see John Matthias do anything other than, I've got something here I'd like to read to you. Unmet needs, the shadows, revelations of inner longings. Why are you reading it like that, John? Why don't you know it? Because when I listen to Legal Lioness, which I love her name, that's why I say it the way I do. When I listen to her, she's not picking up law books to read to us. She's not picking up published articles. She's telling us, she's talking to us, but information is right here where it's supposed to be. And that's why the analysis and synthesis of the information is so smooth. That's why she can address these topics with panache, because she knows it. It's a part of who she is. We don't get that with John. No. I think John is probably an expert at the Dewey Decimal System. And I'm not saying that to be funny, though I hope you laughed. The Dewey Decimal System, because we seem to get photographs of him. There's one thing he does. He seems to be in his personal home library, surrounded by stacks and stacks of books. The only thing I can come up with is, why aren't the books on the shelves? Like, are you cataloging them as you would in a public library? Why don't you just put them in alphabetical order, John? You don't need to use the Dewey Decimal System and create an Excel spreadsheet on your computer that outlines every single book. You got people coming and checking out your books? You're one weird cookie, John. Like, I'm really intrigued by how your behavior is not a reflection of what your story is. And unless maybe you're like Harry, maybe you didn't write your story. Maybe somebody else wrote your story and put it online. My Princeton husband has over 500 evaluations for court-ordered psychiatric evaluations. He's been certified in a court of law, yada, yada, yada. None of that was true. It was all bunk. Wasn't real. We find out he actually was in competition with Jody Hildebrandt for patients. Guess who lost? John. Jody Hildebrandt was getting all the patients. That's not a claim to fame, John. I don't even know why you would tell people you knew her, given the fact that her practice was booming and you were at home doing the Dewey Decimal System with your books. Weird. All right. So watching the Legal Lioness, you can see the analysis and synthesis of information that comes naturally to her. She is, in fact, an expert. She does know her craft. And she is able to take real world examples and then superimpose her knowledge on top of those real world contemporary examples to educate me and you, because I'm not an attorney. Okay. So I hope that you will go over and listen to her. I find her to be very comfortable to listen to. It's not cringy feeling. You don't get a lot of the boring academic prose that sometimes we are prone to. And so, yeah, I really like her. I hope you guys will go over and, subscribe and listen to her video, give her a thumbs up, and do all the stuff. Okay, do the YouTube-y thing. Please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I hope you will. And that way I don't post regularly. And so if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification when I do put something new up. Please hit the thumbs up. That is a big help. Oh yeah. And we're doing a diaper fund. So if you want to help buy diapers for twins that will be arriving in a few months, I do have some photographs, some ultrasound photos of the precious babes. And so I'll put up some pictures of them. One of them, you can see her face. Like you can see it. It's not like bone, and you can see this precious baby. And she looks like her granny. Another one. Legal Lioness.
At dawn with the pelicans in flight, coffee brewing strong by dawn's early light. Waves whisper secrets to my open heart. The life around this water gets me off to a great start. Parrots wild, squawking loud in the old palm tree. Dolphin smiles, brighter than the Texas sun on me. We chase simple dreams, nothing fancy or grand, just honest days in this promised land. God gives rainbow horizons to those in this happy lane. Diamonds dancing on the waves, back sparkling again. Honest living, a pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we seek. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. Living each moment, giving truth from the heart. No deceptions woven, no false starts. It goes like a front porch swaying in the ocean breeze, watching the sunset fade away with pink and bluey. Teach the young ones right from wrong with care. Hold them close when the world's unfair. In this Gulf Coast life we find our way, building memories that never stray. Oh, rainbow horizons after the rain, diamonds dancing on the waves back again. Honest living in pursuit of peace, family ties and the happiness we see. Love, forgotten country running deep in our veins. Through the storms and the trials we break those chains. Good living brings the blessings we see. Rainbow horizons calling to me. When the night falls quiet and stars shine bright, I thank the Lord for this humble light, for the flag that waves and the grace from above, filling our hearts with endless love. No